Всем привет, дорогие друзья! Сегодня у нас замечательный день, чтобы организовать интервью с моим лучшим другом, с которым я познакомился практически недавно, но он уже стал моим лучшим другом. Знакомьтесь, это Грэхам, он из США, штат Теннесси. И сегодня я его проинтервьюирую, и мы сегодня будем говорить о его приключениях в Японии.
Да.
Приятного просмотра. Да. I want to ask you the first question, the first two questions. First one is what brought you to Japan? Why Japan? And the second one is, have you been planning your trip to Japan, and or it was just a spontaneous thing?
Okay, so those are two wonderful questions, and I do greatly appreciate you asking me such detailed and refined questions concerning my current stay and the sightseeing trip in Japan. For many years I've been exposed to varying forms of Japanese entertainment and media and writings and literature, and I've always wanted to come see it. And I wound up making some friends some years ago in a country called Germany, of all places, and they invited me to come stay in Japan, and so that's what pretty much primarily brought me here, was to kind of come see the country and meet up with some old friends of mine and kind of see, how that was going. But in terms of how my trip was planned, it was mostly just very impromptu, very spontaneous. It was kind of like, I dropped out of college, so now I'm going to go sightseeing, and it's a lot cheaper to travel 7,000 miles around the world to a country of which you've never been to and the language you don't speak.
I think for Americans, everything is cheaper except of America.
Yeah,
so,
we do things a little differently over here in the West. Essentially, we want you to buy something you don't need. And that's capitalism.
Yeah, the consumer society.
My grandfather was drafted or conscripted. He was conscripted into the United States Navy way back when in the 1960s. And so he just kind of on the whim was like, well, if I'm going to have to do it, I might as well just enlist. So he enlisted and joined the Navy. And he explored lots of South and Southeast Asia, the Japan, Philippines, Hong Kong, varying other Asian countries, and he made a couple stops in Japan when he was on his naval deployments.
And did he got some chicks?
I don't know, but there is an interesting story that my papa had told me.
Oh.
And my papa told me that whenever him and my uncle were younglings, young individuals, like I don't know, probably like 10, 12 years old, they discovered this bra that said sweet and sour on it, and they showed it to my grandmother, and she was like, I have no idea. This is your dad's. Go ask him about it. I discovered with some minor research on the interwebs, clickety clacking on my nice Razer RGB gamer keyboard, that it was a Betty Page bra. 20-something-year-old young man exploring the very many facets and locations and areas and environments and cultural heritages of Japan and Hong Kong and the Philippines and many of these other foreign nations, that he probably did get to lay some pipe here and there.
The question is, what was your first impression, your first feelings when you came to Japan, Tokyo? I mean,
what was my first impression was a rather overwhelming. It's a very overwhelming environment for someone of whom stems from a very rural area in the southeastern United States. Seeing as that Tokyo has a population of about 41 million people, it being one of the largest populations of like any city in the world, it's kind of confusing whenever you've been on a flight for 17 and a half hours and you just get dropped into this country of which you've never been to and never seen. And the first impression was, wow, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot going on. True. I guess the other thing that I could add to that is just how cleanly the environment is. There's like not really... there's no trash anywhere.
Yeah, it's so clean.
I mean, like you go to there's some like here and there, like in Shibuya or like Shinjuku.
Oh, the tourist spots, of course.
But there's so many people that like just don't care.
Can you tell me something about the food? Japanese food? How it tastes?
In comparison to what I'm used to at home, I will say the taste isn't necessarily so much different as it is the quality.
Quality.
The consistency of it.
What quality means for you?
Quality means that after I eat it, I don't feel like I want to die. In the United States, everything is like, our motto is let's do everything as cheaply as possible. And so, like, a lot of, like, American food is, like, expensive, but
Huge portion.
made very poorly. So it's like, you're eating, like, a lot of just nasty stuff that you don't really know, like all kinds of, like, chemicals, dyes and things, which, you know, that stuff is everywhere. But ultimately, like, that was, like, the big noticeable difference was that, like, you know, I don't feel bad after I eat the food, which is something that's very common in the US, just because the portion sizes are very big. The quality and the taste are superb in comparison to the US. And the price is the best part.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, as for
800
American-
yen for, like, any typical purchase for one person, 800 yen. And for anyone who's watching in the United States, it's like a whole, like, I don't know, like $3.
Well,
3 United States doubloons.
Well, for me, as a Russian guy, well, it's still kind of affordable, but well, sometimes might be a little bit like expensive. Feels expensive. Oh, anyway, by the way, what's your favorite dish in
Onigiri.
onigiri?
Onigiri, yeah. It always tastes the same. It always tastes the same. It's always consistent.
Maybe you tried just a convenience store onigiri or
Only convenience store onigiri.
Well, yeah,
I love the convenience store, guys. It's awesome and fun.
so
And
convenient.
It's
right?
convenient.
Yeah, that's why
it's literally
convenient.
convenient. They're everywhere. You can't escape them. Awesome. It's wonderful. It's great and really cool because we don't have that at home.
Really, you don't have a 7-Eleven in America?
Well, where I'm from, anyway, in the southeast, 7-Elevens are primarily like northern. They're more in the northern region and western regions, and like southwest. So like California, like Washington.
Ah, yeah, the Japanese people, the society, the interaction with Japanese people, how it was,
How was my interaction with
Yeah.
Japanese people?
Well, I know that you don't know Japanese
No, but
language, but anyway, how you try to communicate with them?
well, I know some phrases here and there. You know, like very basic, like
Domo.
domo,
Arigatou
koe kudasai. And realistically, you don't typically have to be fluent in the language
Right.
to communicate with people, because more often than not, you can just use visual references to do it. And most of the time, it's like if you're interacting with someone in like a convenience store, for example, it's pretty much automated aside from just the person scanning the products for you. The rest of it, you can just use like a pad, like that tells you the price and how much you owe and then like what to do and stuff like that.
Well, yeah.
And so it's very easy to try and navigate situations like that.
And if you go to this tourist spot, you can mention that like all the clerks, all the stuff in convenience store
Yes.
are mainly foreigners.
Japanese, locals, like Japanese native people, is like most of them primarily do not speak English, and it's something that is just not
Yeah.
really. A lot of them are really
Well,
not
actually,
interested.
I searched in the internet. It said that only like 7 to up to 10% of Japanese people are able to speak.
Yeah,
like
it's not
really
very
basic
much.
English.
Not very much whatsoever. But ultimately, the language barrier isn't really necessarily a problem.
Yeah, just use a Google Translate.
Yeah.
It's your
So
Sensei, Google Sensei.
Google Sensei. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. But you should totally come visit. And if you have a question and you need help with something, I've noticed that most Japanese people will absolutely drop dead trying to help you.
Yeah,
they
they're
will
so
do.
kind.
They will do their absolute best to try and help you in any way that they can. So don't be afraid to ask questions to people. Now, obviously, if their language is limited and you're native speaking, whether it be English or Russian or varying other foreign languages,
That's absolutely true.
the communication probably won't be there. But if you have a translator app, it's fine.
By the way, what about the rules? Have you ever struggled with some Japanese rules? Have you ever think about that some Japanese rules might be kind of really stupid, ridiculous, nonsense, not necessary?
Well, I'm not super familiar with a lot of the I'm familiar with some of the rules that a lot of Japanese people are like, you know, rather strict about. But I'm not like super familiar with them to the point to where like I know a lot of them are like this one's ridiculous and whatever. But the common ones of which that play out through like daily life and daily interaction, I think are wonderful. Primarily the like the prohibition of like conversing on your cell phone in the train and in a lot of public areas like restaurants and things like that. Yeah. That and obviously not littering and just overall like just not being obnoxious.
Yeah.
And being very quiet, because in the US people are very loud and very obnoxious, and it's really nice to be able to just sit down somewhere on public transport and hear nothing. It's awesome. So it's different for a lot of people, but ultimately like if you just do some like research prior, watch a couple videos, you'll be fine, because ultimately you are a foreigner.
Yeah.
They understand that you're not from here, and you're probably not familiar with a lot of the rules and a lot of the social etiquette. So it's nothing to really be worried about. Just, you know, don't be stupid. That's the best advice I can give anyone. Don't be stupid.
What do you think about bowing? And,
bowing?
Yeah.
I do it constantly.
Apologize.
I think it is a very sincere way to show gratitude or an apology to someone, because it's putting you in a very neutral position of vulnerability. And I do it constantly whenever I get in someone's way or whatever. And I think it's a wonderful thing. I like it a lot. And I also wave at people a lot too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, for me personally, like I have been living there for 2 years and kind of really tired from these like bowing, like maybe 50 times per day, especially in my part-time job. You have to say arigatou gozaimasu every time the customer pass you. It's exhausting. It's so
I can imagine. Well, it's granted I've only been here for like 2 weeks, but you've
you're
been
lucky.
here for 2 years. So I get to return to my homeland pretty soon. But you're living here, so obviously your perspective on it is going to be vastly different than mine.
Yeah, a little bit changed.
Yeah.
Time,
We have different cultural values, from us being from different places anyway. Like there's a lot of different variables playing into our social interactions and our personal interactions. Being in Japan and seeing these things. So.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
Yes.
I know it sounds stupid, because I already know that you have been traveled in other cities.
Yes.
You had traveled in Nara and Kyoto, right? Kyoto?
No, Osaka.
Osaka, yeah.
Close enough.
Expo.
The 2025 World Expo that is in Osaka, Japan. And it was pretty cool. There were countries from all over the world, everywhere from Gabon to the Philippines to Thailand, to France, and to the U.S.
By the way, you got your shika.
Oh yeah,
first,
I can show you my little. Yeah, this is like a little coin wallet. You put your coins in it.
Pretty cool, right?
You put your coins in it, and it's made from tatami, and it's got deer on it, or shika, as they are referred to in the native dialect. And it's pretty cool, and it was like 8 USD, or I don't know, like 700 yen.
The fabric is so...
Yeah, it's tatami. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
It's pretty sick nasty, as we would say.
Sick nasty.
Yeah, sick nasty, guys. That means really cool. I went to Osaka and I visited the World Expo, and I got to see many different exhibitions of these countries. 1 million like, guys. 1,000 likes, and I'll eat the bird. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it for 1,000 likes.
Okay. If you had more time, would you like to travel some other prefectures, cities?
Yeah.
Maybe Hokkaido.
Yeah, I want to go to Hokkaido really badly, because there's a native population of brown bears, and I'll probably be back next year or something. I'll be back very soon.
I hope so.
Yeah, my best suggestion for everyone is go to the underpopulated areas of Japan, because there are plenty of other smaller towns like Kyoto that don't have anywhere near the amount of tourists. And I feel like a lot of people in these rural areas would really benefit from seeing a lot of foreigners and new faces to be able to kind of support their businesses and,
Like me.
and their life. Yeah. Next time I come back to Japan, which will hopefully be very soon, I'm gonna do that. I'm going to Hokkaido, so I don't know, come find me or something. I'll probably be like living in the forest.
Well, anyway, thank you. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your efforts.
No, thank you very much for inviting me to
Yeah,
this
actually,
lovely...
this is my first experience
Yeah.
interviewing someone, so it will be my
Magnum opus.
magnum opus. Will
Magnum opus. The peak.
the peak, yeah.
Peak. I'm the peak guest.
Yes.
I'm the fundamental believer of swagaholics.
Spread the swag. Yeah,
I'm
he's
the
a swag.
of Jesus. The
He's
Jesus
spreading
swag.
the swag. Yeah.
Unadulterated swagger.
I hope
Yeah.
next interview will be really soon. I hope so. Maybe next person will be even Japanese. I hope so. Yeah.
Yes.
So the next time I should practice my comprehend my Japanese.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My English
ain't
sucks.
so good.
Sorry guys, my English sucks.
My English ain't so good, guys. Hell, I can barely speak English, let alone Japanese or German.
Well, see ya.
Auf Wiedersehen. Ha.
Yeah.